So in the last battle, I took almost no casualties, and I'm ramping everyone up to 1300. In this battle, I take 240 casualties and get almost 20 to 1. Almost, just short of 20 to 1. Now, 1300 is a bit high, and I had to move weapons around so I didn't have to buy weapons. Almost all this is free. We're going into Rendezvous, which is a very easy battle. And what I did was I want my units to be about 1200, my best units to be about 1200, and then the units after that will be smaller. Now, some other people like to make their supporting units larger and let their primary units get smaller, so your 3-star units would be smaller. I do just the opposite. I put everything into the best units and have them be the ones that are larger, and all other units that are support units will be smaller, if that makes sense. So my best units will have more men in them, even though that's more expensive, and they'll also have the best weapons. So what I do in Rendezvous is, and this is pretty standard, is I want to consolidate my army and attack the enemy with the combined strength of my entire army. I know I'm going to get reinforcements. They come in on the right. And while I'm going over here to get my army together, I know that the enemy has forces coming in from several different directions. And so this is called defeat in detail. And so what I want to do is isolate, since I happen to be here, this one group, and destroy them with the overwhelming force that I have. Usually whatever the game tells you to do is suicidal. In this case, the game tells you to go to the objective and sit in the middle of the map while the enemy comes from all directions and tears you apart. That's really a bad idea. And it also tells you to march forward right away. I don't want to do that. I always want to get my entire army together in attack as one combined force. And I always want to make sure that I outnumber the enemy 3 to 1 or more wherever I happen to be attacking. I don't want to just line up my guys against his guys. That's never a good tactic. So, okay, we've caught this small and isolated force, and we get to pound on this for a little while. And then my reinforcements will come in, and I'll be able to have a combined force, get my entire army together, and then we'll go forward and systematically tear the enemy apart. So that's what you're going to see. I don't think it needs any commentary. I only lost 240 guys, basically didn't take any losses to speak of. Want to try to catch the enemy, keep my guys in cover, use artillery to degrade the enemy, make them flash white like they're doing right now, make them rout. Make sure that my guys gang up on the enemy units, stay out of melee, and everything just goes really well as much as possible. Yeah, let my detached skirmishers, snipers, if I had cav, I think I do have cav in this battle. Cav, make use of everything, combined arms. So anyway, that's what you're going to see, and I'm not going to talk all the way through this. It's real self-explanatory, and the battle just goes as well as it possibly could go the entire time. You'll notice I spend a lot of time having my units, like one of the things I do is I set my units to run when I'm in combat, because your units will turn faster to face the enemy if you're on run. So you don't want to turn your units, by the way. You want to click on your unit and then target, like I'm doing right now. Click and target. So yeah, that's what you want to do. Right now I have this guy cornered. He's in the corner. He's going to do the dying cockroach here for a while. And I'm going to let this happen. Wish I had a cav unit here, because if you capture the units again, then they're removed from the force pool. Those guys that just shattered, however many there were, they're going back to the enemy force pool. So on Brigadier General, not a big deal. But on Major General, which is way harder than this, it is a big deal. You want to reduce that force pool. So, okay. The reason my units are 1300 is because that's how high I had to go to trigger scaling, and probably could have gone higher. But I hope this bleeds down by the time I get into some of the bigger grand battles. And yeah, I'd rather have more units of smaller size in the early part of the campaign rather than big oversized units. So My artillery, I'm taking right to 12 guns. On Major General, I take them to 8 guns per battery to affect scaling, and 8 guns works great. You can take your guns to 13 and 14, but the max effective size is that I found is 12. Okay, here we're about to, I'm going to go ahead and cross the river on the left side. And it's always a really good idea to detach skirmishers before moving your infantry across any danger area. And a river like this is a danger area because you have no cover. And this, by the way, is what you do in the infantry. Anytime you're going to cross a river or something, you practice security, which is, yeah. So in this case, detached skirmishers gives you greater visibility, and you have them go first, and then you have the infantry follow, so you don't get caught. Your infantry doesn't get caught in the water. My infantry is now secured the other side, and then I'll follow with the artillery. I'll have basically a bridgehead on the other side of this obstacle, water obstacle, and then my reinforcements will come in and they'll have a safe crossing because I've already secured a crossing here. So yeah, this all is going absolutely perfectly. My reinforcements are coming in now, bring them to the other side, get my entire army together, and then, yeah, we'll go to the next phase and the next phase and the next phase. What I don't want to do is do a whole lot of fighting in the woods. I want to catch the enemy as much as possible in the open, lure the enemy out as much as possible of the woods. And if I do attack in the, well, have to attack in the woods. I want to drive the enemy into water and then do as much damage to him as I possibly can while he's crossing the water. Yeah, you always want high ground. You always want your units in good cover. You want the enemy in water or in the open. Yeah, basic stuff. So anyway, I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm going to let you watch the units. My reinforcements cross the river as I organize my army and get ready for the next phase. It's a fairly short battle, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.